joining us once again right here on Zero to Free. You know that we are talking about freelancers and how the journey is of becoming a freelancer and making a success of that. And we've got amazing guests today that have joined us to join in on this conversation. And in today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is, you know, how it's the idea of working for yourself is really great, right? Until you actually have to get clients month to month, because that's a huge challenge when it comes to becoming a freelancer, is that how do I get clients every single month to make sure that I pay my bills, I get extra money, and also still have the business running? Because that's what the whole point of becoming a freelancer really is, having those clients. And of course, like I said, we've got amazing guests that are going to be chatting to us more about that and how to turn your business into a success by having more clients every single month, every day, any day, right? So we've got amazing guests. Like I said, it is Justine Kiska, and she is the founder of Barter Smarter, and they provide an interactive marketplace that brings SMMEs together to exchange value and grow smarter. Look, I know it's a lot of words, but she's going to explain exactly what that is, okay? And then we've also got Thabo Singo, and he is a freelance sound designer and engineer whose job is to translate emotion to picture using audio. He's also currently enrolling into a 3-year music business degree in London. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, Justine, let's just jump straight into it. What does your business do?
Right, so Barter Smarter is a interactive marketplace made for small businesses to connect and exchange value. When I say exchange value, you're able to list your business and you can interact with other entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And you can exchange products and services with each other.
Oh, wow. So you're basically connecting everybody. Sounds pretty interesting. All right, so like I said, the topic for today is how to get clients, and literally how to get clients month to month, because we find a lot of freelancers, they get a client this month, then it's dry for 3 months, and then you get another client another time. But how do you get to that consistency? So firstly, I just want to know, when did you know it was time to work for yourself full time? Like, when was that decision, was like, okay, fine, I've made a certain amount of money? Or was it just a matter of, it was a personal decision where you felt holistically, I'm ready to do this?
Do you want to go first, Just?
Okay, cool. So as soon as I finished school, well, in primary school, let me start there. In primary school.
We're taking it all the way back.
Yeah.
Right?
In primary school, I bought a bunch of sweets, and I used to sell those sweets to my classmates.
Yes.
I was obviously not allowed to
You
do
were a
that,
dealer.
and I did. Yeah, I was a sweet dealer.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to do that, so
Barter Smarter.
I got in trouble.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, as soon as I finished school, I've always been passionate about business. I started my first business when I finished school.
Okay.
So there was no transition period for me.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just began my business journey.
So you just literally went straight into it. You're like, there's no question about it. This is what I want to do. I want to be a sweet dealer. That's amazing. And yourself, Thabo?
So for me, not quite the same. I was not that much of a hustler early on, but I found the music passion beginning of high school. I kind of realized, music is something that I really, really enjoy. And I used to love replicating, trying to make music. And I thought, I'll make music for artists one day, and this will be that. And then as I got older, when I left school, my brother was working for a marketing firm. And they said, hey, look, we've been trying to do this brand film. We've been trying to get this together, and for some reason we can't find any audio that works. Do you want to just try, see if you could produce something that could kind of work? So at that point, I've never done anything, but I've always been kind of good at putting sounds together. So I was not very good into the sound design, but then I was putting these cool little sounds that I would just find, and then they were like, how did you do that? And I was like, oh, I don't know, I just try to put that and that. And then they were like, well, do you think you could make something sound more like this?
Yeah.
And then could you make the waves sound a bit heavier? And then I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then from then on, I was like, well, this is actually a thing. So then I started researching I made the mistake. I started researching how do you make sounds? And then that was when I found out about sound design. And then I went and I studied a SAE in Cape Town. And that was essentially how I started. From there, registered my business in the process, because then I was just, my brother's marketing firm would then call me again now and then, be like, hey, could you help us a bit with this? And then he said, hey, start a business, register it as a company, and then that was me from there.
So you've never done the whole transition, but what I'm getting from both of you, you've never done the whole transition from working formally and then now thinking, okay, I think I want to start my own thing.
No.
All right. But that's
luckily.
Right?
So
you just knew exactly what you wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
And got straight into it. Okay. So then now when it comes to finding clients, well, we obviously start by advertising ourselves and saying, hey, this is who I am, this is what my company does. But how do you then package the services that you provide as a freelancer or a business, and also how do you craft that customer experience?
Sure, that's quite a deep question. I think it's very important to start building relationships with people initially. When you have strong relationships with people, you can pretty much sell them anything.
Yeah.
Even if you change your product or you change certain things about what you're doing, if you have a strong relationship with somebody, you're able to sell them things, and you're able to get their network to buy into things as well.
Nice.
So I think that is probably one of the ways to keep clients and maintain relationships.
We're just going to jump in on that quickly. So a lot of people, when we mention that we need to start having relationships with different kinds of people that could potentially be your customers, a lot of the question is like, okay, so where do I start? How do people start starting those relationships and then maintaining them?
Okay, that's a great question. I think it's very important, as I was saying, to have a target audience first, have a target market. Who do you want to interact with? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to build a relationship with? Once you have that, you need to make a list of those people and find ways in where you can contact them, or people that they know, and do crazy things. No, really, do some crazy things. I know, I don't know if you guys know of this guy's from Valuetainment. What he used to do is he used to send a shoebox with one shoe to somebody he wanted to connect with, and he said, I've got my foot in the door now. So if you want to, literally, if you want to chat with me and get to know more about how we can work together, I'll give you the other shoe. So so
I'm going for another shoe.
he's pretty good on the networking side, but I think it's very important to have that list of who do you want in your circle. You have to start somewhere. You have to know who those people are. And how you're going to creatively get in touch with them. Because most of those people get sent emails all the time, every day.
Yeah.
So you have to think about creative ways too.
That is so great.
That is amazing.
So you, Thabo, back on the how do you package your services? I know you obviously used your brother's marketing firm to actually start, but now moving forward from that, how did you start packaging your services?
So with my situation, it's always a bit different because my market's very niche in terms of the sound design for brand films is very, very niche.
Yeah.
It's not a big market. It's not everyone who's putting their hands up to do it.
True.
So, guys, LinkedIn is incredible. I just want to let everybody know.
It's linking people
that LinkedIn is the plug, guys. LinkedIn, I'm telling you. So, because what I did was so niche, sound designer, just sitting on LinkedIn, looking through people, and then just messaging, hey, do you know how this works? And that's what I would do, just talk to people, hey, do you know a bit more about sound design? What could I do? And then eventually what happens is we started exchanging portfolios. Nice. And they'd say, hey, I'm working on this. Could you maybe tweak this for me? And I'll give you a portion of that. Mm-hmm. And then that's how I started freelancing and building my connections. So not only did I have my own connections building through the marketing company that I'm partnered with, because they're always doing big, campaigns and things like that. I've done TEDx, the Cannes Film Fest, just really cool things. But then on the other side, it's like, you need to also be aware that that cannot be the only place where you rely on everything, and you should take that opportunity to link. I use the opportunity in the fact that I have had access to these amazing opportunities to be able to say, hey, you know what, can I please talk to you more about this? I'm a sound designer, this is what I've done. Could you give me some tips on what you do? And then from there, it's amazing. You're able to really connect with people. So LinkedIn,
amazing.
LinkedIn for me has been...
Don't worry, it might be awkward at first, right? I'm sure it was like this awkward, like just typing and sending all those messages.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm sure you guys might have touched a little bit on this, but I just wanted to ask, so how do you guys ensure that your clients keep coming back each and every month?
That's a bit of a broad question, because I also feel like it solely depends on what you're selling, or what your product is.
Yeah.
Because there's certain products that you'll need for 2 months, 3 months, or a year. Like if I had to purchase a guitar, I'd have to find new clients every time.
That's true.
There's certain products you'd have to find new clients every time, and there's certain things where if you're selling milk or you're selling bread, certain companies will have a different audience to target, I think,
Okay.
It's amazing. With regards to retaining clients, people's viewpoints on things change. So you landing a client for one thing might not mean that they'll want to use you for the next thing.
That's true.
The trick to retention is literally just discipline and just being professional. That's what I found, because if you're professional, even though you might have a fight with the clients, if you're professional about something that you're struggling to essentially come together with, there is always the chance that they will be patient with you.
Yeah.
They will come back. If you do the work well, they will come back. So it's very interesting, because with client retention, one thing you start realizing about big business just wants seamless. They just want seamless.
Yeah, they just want...
They really don't want to hire a marketing company and then have to go look for another marketing company for their next campaign, then have to do the next thing.
Yes.
So that's it. It's like, it's very scary how it's something that we really downplay. But just by being productive, professional, proactive, you'd find that it's a lot easier to retain clients, because they'll be more willing to listen. Because like I said, people really don't want to go into a service and then now next week we have to now look for something else again.
It's really hard finding you.
And that tends to be how I get in. Certain people are not professional. We've been waiting for these files for 3 weeks. We've been waiting for this for 2 weeks.
And that's a big thing.
And
that's
things like that are huge, because like I said, there will be times where you're not going to get it right the first time.
Yeah.
But by being on time, hey, I'm sorry, this is a bit early. Oh, I'm sorry that I'm not getting it right. I will have this to you before the deadline. It's very surprising. And
can I
please jump in.
So, one way that you are also able to retain clients, as I sound like a preacher now.
That's okay.
Is to have good relationships. Why I keep saying this is because just in my personal experience, I formed a really close relationship with a manager of a grocery store that's near my house. And at the time I was selling a variety of different products. Because my relationship was so strong with him, he was able to put my products into other stores. He was able to put, get things out there for me through his network. And that also allowed me to bring different and other products to him. So because of that relationship, because my relationship was strong and I maintained it, hey, how are you? You have to know details about people. It can't just always be, hey, can you finish this? Can you finish that?
Yeah.
How are you? How is your life going? How's your family doing? Get to know the person. When you know somebody and you've built that relationship with them, it's very hard for them to say no.
That's true. I mean, it's way past the, hi, or plastic please, or whatever.
How's
So
your family?
I mean, you just need to,
100%.
I guess when you start knowing people's stories and start really connecting with them in that way, people now start opening up.
Yeah.
And you can also open up about your business, because sometimes when you're just like, hey, I've got a business, people are like, chillax.
Because she's really right. And another thing that you tend to forget sometimes is that your success is really based on others.
That's
You
true.
could be the biggest person in the world, but you still need the manager from the grocery
You need
store
everybody.
who likes you enough to say, hey, you're really nice. Of course I'll help you and put your things in here. So you're really right about that.
Yeah, I really like that. I really, really
Nice,
like that.
just for the win.
Just for the win, yes. So then, when it comes to scaling your business or scaling your services, how did you start? Because now you've already started. You've started like this freelancing, or you start your business. So now, how did you now start scaling it to become even bigger?
So with me, what I started doing is, as I started getting more work that was becoming more and more difficult to handle, I just started getting other freelance producers and sound designers on. So what I would do is I would say, okay guys, look, I cannot hire you on a full-time basis.
Yeah.
But what I will do is I'll pay you guys a particular amount every month. So I'll pay you guys $2,000 every month to help cover, say, your travel for the month. And whenever I need you, be present.
Yeah.
So that's how I've worked in scaling up. So whenever I've got work that's too much that I can't handle, I make 3 or 4 phone calls. They'll do the work for me. And that way I'm able to not essentially have to worry about employees, because at this level, when you have full-on employees, you have to pay them a lot of money, which is very difficult. But this way I'm able to keep my business growing, help more and more people, and then so as I go every year, I just add more and more people onto my little freelance network of designers.
Yeah.
There are 8 of us now that I roam with, and that's it. So that's how I operate.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's how I scale.
It's the same thing that you were saying, that you need people to actually grow.
100%.
And how did you scale your business?
When you have a small business or you're a freelancer, you find yourself with erratic amounts of money. Sometimes you have a lot, sometimes you have very little, depending on the client. And it's very difficult to manage that money and pay your expenses, try and still maintain your business. So it's very important when you are a small business to be able to maintain your customers and retain your business in terms of your resources. Sometimes it's very important when you partner with certain people, you get in touch with a variety of different people in your network that can help maintain your business. I think that's very important, because you never want to be in a situation where small clients pull out and you can't maintain the business anymore.
That's true.
So I think your network and your resources, you need to be able to latch onto those so that you can maintain your business, and then when you want to grow your business, you can use your funds. But every single time you get a client, try and keep those funds. Don't try and invest all of it back into the business, because you need to obviously pay your personal expenses and certain other things. So just in my personal experience, that is how I maintain my company. I kept my money. I did what I really needed to do with it, and then I maintained my relationships, and I built on my network so I could gain more and more resources. And exactly with the barter or the exchange value concept of, if you have something that's a skill or a resource that you can exchange with somebody else to keep your business afloat, that is one way you can do it without using money.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, that's how you scale your business. All right, we're just going to go for a very quick ad break, and then we'll be back.
This podcast is created and sponsored by Moya, a startup that provides a smart money manager that helps freelancers make sense of their numbers and reach their financial goals by providing a mobile app which assists freelancers manage their cash flow, invoices, and tax all in one place. Moya is running some exciting initiatives and campaigns over the next couple of weeks. Moya and Seam Coffee have partnered up to bring you a networking event for freelancers at Seam Coffee in Fourways on the 11th of June. Watch out for more details. And don't forget to subscribe to Moya's weekly newsletter, Moya Mondays, for weekly tips and news about the world of freelancing. This podcast is brought to you by Moya, your guide to successful freelancing.
Welcome back. We are still with Justine and Thabo, and we're still chatting about how to get clients and how to also scale your business. But just a little bit, you heard on the ad that we have some great initiatives that we are doing with Moya Money, and we've got a really exciting free workshop as well as free coffee and working space at Seam Coffee in 4 ways. I would love some coffee for myself, actually. So do make sure you head on over to the description box and then just check out how you can be a part of all of that. So let's just continue with the conversation with Thabo and Justine. So just wanted to find out, right, because the service business is very personal, and as you often interact with a lot of clients individually, what do you think differentiates good from great?
I honestly think that it's actually just really goes back to what Justine said a lot earlier about building relationships with your clients.
Yeah.
The difference between good and great is good is the person who's on time, good is the person who's professional, but great is the person who asks, how's your mother?
Yes.
You told me your child was sick last week. How is he doing? How are things going? So I really just think it's pretty much what Justine said earlier. It's just having that personal touch.
Yeah.
Really caring is the difference between good and great. There are a lot of us that can do things on time, but there are very few of us that will take the extra step to actually care.
It's an extra level.
That's it.
Sure. I actually absolutely agree. I feel like good and great is also defined by discipline and details, which exactly what you're saying of. You have to be disciplined with your business, but you also have to pay attention to details when it comes to your clients. Details just outside of the work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree.
I like that. I really, really like that. This makes it like even more personal. That your clients are not just, a money bag.
100%.
They are literally people that you are connecting with.
Absolutely.
So that's great. So now that you guys have been working for yourselves, and when you're starting off, there's obviously a lot of mistakes that happen, right? And you have to learn through those mistakes. So if I could put it as 2 mistakes that each of you have made and would want to help someone else that's trying to make a decision to work for themselves, what would those mistakes and those lessons be so that we can help someone else, just get a little bit ahead and jump through that?
I think for me, the first one is procrastination.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Guys, if there is one thing I could take back, it's how long I took to get certain things started. Because I would constantly give myself an excuse. No, there's no ways that I can be a sound designer because I don't have my own studio. So, which means it's not going to work. There's no ways I can do this because I don't have that type of this, so I can't do this. And that is the biggest thing. It's just realizing that when you really want to work something out, start small.
Yeah.
Buy the smallest speakers, buy the cheapest things you can find, move around, don't procrastinate. So if there's one thing, procrastination.
And it's a big thing.
And it's huge amongst all of us.
Procrastination is, we're all struggling with procrastination.
That was the one, that's one thing I wish I could take back.
Yourself, Justine?
Yeah, for me, I think 2 big mistakes that I have made. The first one is probably trusting.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. Procrastination is big enough for 2.
Sorry.
Trusting people too easily. In terms of business, we seem to have a desperate side to us sometimes when we really need the money.
Yeah.
And we tend to trust people that we don't really need to, or we know we shouldn't. But there's this opportunistic feel to, if I take this opportunity, maybe this will happen. Or maybe I'll get that.
Yeah.
And usually what happens is when it does fail, or you get scammed, or you get led on by a deal and it falls out, or you have a certain amount of money that never comes back, that you invested in an idea that you wanted to do with the person, or whatever the case may be, it takes you down a few emotionally, mentally, things like that. So I think some of the biggest mistakes I've made personally is just trusting people, not trusting my gut when it came to people, and taking opportunities out of desperation.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, no, that's a big one.
Shucks, procrastination, being desperate.
And that's the thing. Desperation is so tricky though, because it's like when you're starting a business and when you're moving into investing in things, guys, the biggest thing to do is always try and educate yourself as much as you can on the particular field you're in. There are a lot of people who didn't go to university that are making tons of money. It doesn't mean you need a formal education to be aware, but just educating yourself on the things that you're doing. Like you said, trusting people too easily. You know, that's how you end up.
Ooh, those are some heavy lessons though, hey? Really heavy lessons. So we're just gonna close it off. And I just wanted to say that, well, in South Africa, what we're facing is like a huge, a very big unemployment rate. And that's a huge problem. And obviously government is trying to find different ways on how they can alleviate that, or, you know, scale it down to a much smaller rate. Do you think that the gig economy, like being a freelancer, is the solution for South Africa's unemployment rate?
I absolutely think so. Nobody's going to say this. I'm going to say it might be controversial. But a lot of the major organizations, when you find people being employed these days, it's people's families, it's people that they know, it's friends. It's very seldom I've seen personally, in my personal opinion of what I've seen. I haven't seen anybody come in from the complete outside. When it comes to finding a job these days, it's extremely difficult. And we as a society, as small businesses, as freelancers, as individuals that are trying to make it, it's very important that we help each other. The freelance market is much bigger than the formal job market right now. So yes,
100%.
It's growing.
I definitely think that it is the way to go, and especially if we have the support of each other, and we're creating marketplaces just like Barter Smarter for each other. It becomes a wider, bigger marketplace, bigger than the corporate entities that you're trying to penetrate.
I was initially gonna say, bit of both, but Justine's right. It's from the inside. Most of the people getting the jobs are from the inside. So yes, when you're in a country where 75% of youth is unemployed, the gig economy, I just think that's crazy. Almost 8 out of every 10 youth you meet is unemployed. That's just nuts. So you are right in everything. The gig economy is the way.
So if someone right now just left varsity, just graduated from varsity, looking for a job, has never had any experience, do you think any experience in working for anyone, right? Do you think that, or would you encourage them to actually start their own thing?
I think you see, so this is where it becomes a bit difficult though, because there's so many different outliers that come with starting your own thing. It's very hard for you to come out of school or whatever. Is it school you said? Varsity? School? Varsity or whatever. But if you don't have certain knowledge about certain things, it's very hard for you to just go start something. And also there's also the flip side of, you don't want to put R1 million into something you know nothing about, because you're just going to be R1 million into debt at the end of it all. So in that instance, I think it's really about researching, taking time, looking into things. If you're at varsity, that means that you probably have a phone, a smartphone, internet, read up about things that you like, and then afterwards you're able to look more into it and see, well, what is it that I like? What do I spend most of my time like looking to? And then I think from there, that would be the best thing to do. But have research on something, choose something that you're very passionate about, because passion brings money. I'm a big believer that if you follow your passion, the monetary gains come with it, because when it's something you're passionate about, you're able to find a way out of problems a lot easier than when it's something that you're paid to do and you hate every second about it. So find something you're passionate about, take some time, and I would say give it a go on your own. I'd say give it a go on your own.
Justine, want to close this one off?
Absolutely agree. I feel like if you have a passion and you really find a problem, if you see a problem in the market, if you see a problem, whether it be in your university, amongst your friends, amongst the economy, the workplace, your mom's workplace, whatever the case may be, if you find a problem and you're able to find a solution for that problem, go ahead and start that. Businesses, freelancers, the whole purpose of us doing something is solving problems in the economy and in South Africa. So I agree with you. Find your passion and find a problem to solve and start.
And last thing, in order to be very successful, it doesn't mean that you have to create a Tesla. or a SpaceX, or you have to make some world-changing thing. The trick of entrepreneurship is you are finding something that solves a common day problem.
Yes.
And for example, I had a friend who was working on a little device that costs 10 Rand that could help you get your toothpaste out of your...
I mean...
small things like that, and I was like, this seems silly, but he was like, yeah, but think about how many people just with toothpaste.
I also struggle. I need that too.
Little things like that. I was like, okay, but you know, he's figuring it out. You know, he started off in his community. They made 10 grand their first month, or 9,000 Rand their first month, just little things. And I mean, like, that's entrepreneurship. So
that is definitely
don't feel like you need to have a $10 billion business in order to feel like you can go out on your own, guys. Solve a simple problem.
All right, we're going to end it on solve a problem. That's where we're going to end it today. So thank you so much for joining us. This has really been very fruitful and insightful. And yeah, all the best in your businesses.
Thank you.
We are going to put all your information. I know you guys are not on social media. We're going to put all your information on how people can get in touch with you guys.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, we'll put it all in the description box. Thank you once again for joining us. It's Mogoena right here on 0 to Free.
0